Billy here. What's happened today? Well, I'm still chasing down all this disinformation from yesterday. Interesting thing popped up. A lot of my friends in the U.S. are my coworkers and other people I know. They're not all that political. They're for Trump, and they are aware of what's going on. They share things that go through the internet. And one thing that keeps bouncing around is they're starting to get all this stuff about the horrible atrocities and carelessness that the Russians are responsible for in Ukraine. Yeah, okay. Well, that's some backstepping, I guess. Still not true. Sharing things that aren't true. Somebody put something up about a Russian tank ran over a civilian car with an elderly man in it, and yet he survived. And so I rang that up on YouTube to see what comes up, and there are literally scores of videos showing the footage, the same incident from lots of different angles. That's interesting. So many people were recording that, and some are much better than others. Anyway, a lot of them were better than the one he shared, my friend. But they all had different headlines. Russian tank runs over a car with a young girl in it. Russian tank runs over a car full of children. Russian tank runs over a car full of nuns, I guess. I'm exaggerating, but it's all different stories for the same video. And something didn't look right. For one thing, the driver of the vehicle, it's light armor too, it's not a tank. He's driving like a lunatic. Russians are very well trained. This guy wasn't controlling this thing. He's out of control. He's skidding around on the streets because he's going way too fast and turning too hard. I've seen people do that before, back during the initial war when that started the anti-terrorist operation against Donbass, the Ukrainians. Yeah, they were driving BMTs like lunatics in town, sliding around and going airborne and jumping up on the sidewalk. There's a video, one of them smashed right into a telephone pole, and then they drug him out and he's drunk. That's a problem in Ukraine, not Russia. Russia are very, very highly trained professional soldiers. I've seen it. They are. This isn't the 90s. That's a long time ago. It's a lot different now. It's still the 90s in Ukraine and worse. A lot of these people don't have hardly any training at all. I'm going to talk about an example of that in a minute, but back to this piece of light armor. One of the videos of it showed a close up. It was somebody used a telephoto, and it was from a different angle. You can see quite clearly what it is. It's an anti-air platform. My friend Mark Dougan pointed that out. John Mark Dougan. He's got a website. I post links. I'll post a link in this. But he was doing a live stream and says, that's not a tank, that's an anti-air defense. He knows his shit. He was a Marine, by golly. That was his job. And he noticed that with the real bad video where it's way off in the distance, he saw what it was. He said that's an anti-air, short-range air defense platform. So I Googled short-range air defense platform, tracked vehicle, and it came right up. Stekla 10, I'm probably going to mispronounce it. It's Russian for arrow, which I forget my words. Stekla or Stikla. Yeah. It's not even made anymore. They've been replaced with much more modern ones, which means it wasn't Russian, it was Ukrainian. Second thing is, Russians wouldn't have short-range air defense in an invasion of Ukraine. Why would they? Ukraine doesn't have an air force. No, they had a little one, but they don't have any at all anymore. They don't have much air capability. They couldn't even use their air defense that they did have, or their aircraft that they did have, against the Donbass, because they were taking them down with manpads. That's a very short-range, handheld anti-aircraft missile. Kolomoisky, I think, I'm sure he doesn't now, but until recently, he had his own little private air force where he had fighter jets. And he might have had something to do with M17, if you remember that, but that's a whole other subject. We're back to this Russian tank running over civilian cars. There's a million different takes on it. Oh, they're evil. They did it on purpose. They don't care about people. Or they were careless and out of control. Everybody's spinning it a different way. Everybody's got different facts. But the real fact is, zoom in on the good picture, it's not a tank and it's not Russian. It's air defense. The Russians would not bring short-range air defense platforms into Ukraine because Ukraine doesn't have anything to use them on. Anyway. This is the way they're spinning all this stuff. And it's not just this incident. They're using everything to claim Russian atrocities. Well, you know, they didn't show the stuff in Donbass where they ran over a kid and a woman in a baby stroller with light armor. They didn't show it where they crashed into a telephone pole and they drove the guy out and he's freaking drunk. They didn't show him jumping the thing downtown. I don't remember what town it is, but they're going so fast they went over a little intersection. If there had been a car or people there, they would have been run over or killed. Or if they landed wrong, they would have went off the side. They're just doing crazy stuff. And, well, you didn't hear about it, did you? Because that's our guys. That's our Ukraine. The guys we gave $2.5 billion to for new armaments. Oh, yeah, you should feel pretty pissed about that, I would think. Are you? And if you are, what are you going to do about it? Maybe you could think of something, maybe do some organizing, maybe write your Congress critter. It probably doesn't do any good these days. I think democracy's pretty much over with. They don't care about you. They don't care what you think about anything. You can make a difference, though, but you got to organize and you got to know what to do. Got to have some intelligence behind it. The first thing you can do is spread and share this stuff. And stop spreading and sharing stuff that a 5-year-old could probably find out pretty quickly that it's bullshit, but it's getting shared anyway. I don't see a lot of people sharing my stuff or the stuff. Maybe I'm blind because I'm shadow banned and I've got all kinds of, I have weird stuff happening on my computer today. And the stuff I got to do, because I think my server is actually in Ukraine. I don't know how that happened. There's a lot of convoluted twists and turns to things about my phone and my computer and having to use VPNs, and it's pretty complicated and it takes a lot of time. And it's going to get worse because they're trying to shut off the conversation and, you know, shove what they want you to believe down your throat. I'd kind of be offended at that. I don't like people lying to me. It's not that difficult to figure it out. It's just too fitting what the U.S. wants to do, what their agenda is, and then, oh, look at all these videos of Russian tanks running over civilians. Okay, if you got two brain cells to rub together, use them. You know, use your intuition. Do a little digging. Google what you just saw, or put it in YouTube in a search, and all the videos will come up, and you see all the different stories, and you'll see better pictures. And then look at that thing. Does that look like a tank? Do you have any knowledge whatsoever of these things? Ask your friends that do. Is that a tank? If it's not really wide and low and extremely heavy looking, it's probably light armor or some sort of platform. And you can start Googling these things. You need to learn how to do these things, or you're just going to be blown about by every freaking wind and not have any opinion of yourself like some of these media people. I'm not scolding anyone. I know everybody's got their lives. They got a lot of pressure. They got a hard job. They got a lot of things to think of and a lot of things to do. And maybe they're unwinding and they say, oh, look, the Russians ran over somebody. Well, if you keep doing that, you're just going to keep bleeding tax money to the Nazis and getting it burned. And then wondering what's going on. Maybe eventually sending your sons and daughters over to get them burned because you're on the wrong freaking side. You got to look into this stuff. I encourage you. You can do it. It's not that difficult. I do it. And I've got all kinds of weird things I have to go around to get information and find things. Anyway, just a little short thing there. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. The Ukrainian Interior Minister is handing out AKs to everybody. They got 10,000 automatic rifles, and they're handing them out to the public in Kyiv. And I've seen people post that. All these, gun nuts and NRAs, they say, yeah! Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to hand out weapons indiscriminately to untrained people when you're in the middle of a shitstorm. Yeah, we should hand them out to Black Lives Matter. You should go to the ghetto and hang them out to all the black people because they're oppressed, you know. They're being oppressed by the man. You think that'd be a good idea? Why is it a good idea in this instance? You guys don't know you don't have any idea what the freaking hell you're talking about when you're sharing this stuff and approving of it. You're going to get a lot of civilians killed. So it's very serious things are happening right now. They're mopping up the Nazis and the leaders that have been killing people in Donbass for 8 freaking years, which you didn't get to hear about. And now in Kyiv, they're wanting to just create total chaos and a shitstorm. You think they care about their people? You think they care about them handing out weapons like that? They're not going to beat Russia. All they can do is prolong things and kill as many people as possible. And untrained civilians with automatics, well, they're going to be the biggest casualty. You think they care about them? You care about them? You think it's just great that they should hand guns out to everybody? You're a freaking moron. There's something wrong with you. Think about what you're advocating. God. If you want to fight a government, you need command structure, you need intel, you need communications, and you need something more than small arms. And this American attitude that everybody has an AK in their closet, they can make the government obey them. Doesn't work that way, kitten. That's not the way it's going to go down. You need. I've talked about it before, but I went around back when Obamacare was about to be passed. And I saw way before that, they're just going to keep screwing the lid down until it's not America anymore. That's why I bought a place over here. And I went around looking for resistance because I wanted to kind of help against this kind of stuff. This is back about, 2007 or so. Obama was president. I don't remember. Maybe it's 2008. I went and visited some well-known militias in Texas and other places, and I talked to their presidents and leadership, and it's like, they didn't have a clue. Do you have a plan for alternative communications? They never even thought of it. They think just because they got some small arms that they're good. That's all it needs. And they have little meetings, and they sit around the fire and they target practice, and that's good. Are you trying to find out what the police are doing, maybe befriend some policemen so you have a little intel and what's going on? It never occurred to them. Do you even know your freaking neighbor? The guy, see that house down there up on a hill? Yeah. Do you know him? Do you talk to each other? Oh, never thought of it. You guys are freaking idiots. That's when I really doubled down on being glad I got a place overseas. You're not going to do anything. In the military, the military do something, right? They follow their command. And if their command is crooked, they're going to do what they say. Look what they're doing in Canada. And if that doesn't work, they'll bring UN troops in, that will do what they tell them to. What are you going to do then? You really need to organize and get your head out of your ass and start thinking about these things and using a little intelligence to put something solid together and think about tightening up every stitch. This isn't a Rambo movie, and it's not fantasy. It's real. It's coming your way. These sanctions, they might just finish off the American economy. They're not really going to have much of an effect here. They have effect on people like me that rely, up till recently, I relied on my American money. Well, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. They're talking about seriously unplugging the SWIFT system. I got my money, most of it out of the bank. I didn't have much, but I got it out in cash. I'm good. Won't last long, but I'm not going to be able to set up any sort of support network from America. That's ended. But that's okay, because to me the truth is more important. I'll just live on faith. Anyway, let's see, what else have they done? They're unplugging SWIFT. Oh, I had a transfer service that I used, and just as an experiment, I opened that up and acted like I was going to transfer money and have it change to rubles. Oh no, there's restrictions on that now. That happened just a few days ago. They just put them on. They're already shutting things down. They're screwing the lid down. That's a bad sign. I've read where they're stopping flights to Russia from Great Britain. I don't remember who's doing it. They're claiming the Russians are, but who knows. Well, I kind of planned on staying here for good anyway, and I'm forced to. I wish I'd have done it a long time ago, but I just couldn't. Now things are going to shake out for good or for ill. I'd rather live in a sort of genteel poverty here than I would to be bloody stinking rich in the U.S. because it's not gonna work anymore over there. I think I've paid, last time I checked, over $70,000 into Social Security, and that's supposed to be matched by employers too, right? So in theory, I should be for good for about 140 yards, right? You think I'm going to get any of that? Nah, I'm not going to get a freaking penny of it. Nah, it's okay. They stole it. I've seen all these boomers saying, well, that's not an entitlement. I paid that, and by God, I'm going to get it. I want my Social Security. You're not going to get it. They stole it. You paid that, yeah, right, and they stole it from you. You want the millennials to pay for it? You want them to be taxed like at 90% of their income and work their asses off so that you can get your Social Security? You should have planned better for the future. Too freaking bad. They stole it from you. You're screwed. Just shut up about it, boomer. You're not getting it. They're out of money. Oh, they might give it to you, but they'll be printing so much money. Your whole check might be $40,000 a month, and you won't be able to buy an ice cream cone with it. It's coming. U.S. cannot enforce the dollar anymore. It's going to bump. It's going to spike. It's going to look great for a little bit, and then it's going to plummet. That's what's happening right now. It's spiking. It went up. But it's not going to stay up because there's nothing behind it. There's never been anything behind it for the last 40 years except the U.S. military forcing people to use it. They can't do it anymore. You haven't got the technology. You haven't got the firepower. You haven't got anything. All your bases can be just shut down in a few weeks easily. But a whole bunch of people want to do it, and they're supposed to be such horrible savages and such enemies and such terroristic dictators. They could have done it a long time ago. The screw turned about 6 years ago. They kind of felt each other out for a while. I know who won that because I see the result. What they're doing now is they're trying to save face and act like they're still in control in the U.S., and they're not. They don't have any options at all. They might do something really stupid and desperate. You better hope they don't. Like sending troops over here, you better hope they don't. If you're in a service, you'd be really wise not to go, because what you're doing, you're going to fight for Biden? Really? Did you elect him? If you're a true believer, you're enthusiastic, and you elected Biden, hell, more power to you. Come on over here. Make sure you make your arrangements. If you know that there was something fugazi about the last election and you really don't agree with Biden, was my commander-in-chief, I took a sacred oath of honor to defend my country from foreign enemies and domestic. Okay, you don't have any foreign enemies, bud. You got domestic ones, and you're not doing anything about it because they don't pay you to. Nobody's going to pay you or give you a parade for fighting domestic enemies. It's an ugly, dirty business. They're going to call you a traitor. They're going to call you a terrorist. And nobody's going to give you money. Nobody's going to hand you a weapon and give you a place to sleep and take you around everywhere. Oh, it's real easy to fight foreign enemies. It's a lazy man's fight. It's a coward's fight. What are you going to do? Who are you going to fight? I ask these people when they start spouting that shit at me, when are you going to start on the domestic ones? You got a lot of domestic enemies. Saddam Hussein didn't want to take your freedom of speech away. The Taliban didn't even want to take. They didn't care about you. They just want to control their own country. It's none of your freaking business. Your CIA put them in power anyway. Because we had to keep Afghanistan from falling to the Soviets. Oh my God, that would have been a horrible fate if Afghanistan had fallen to the Soviets. It would be like Uzbekistan now, or Kyrgyzstan, or Tajikistan, or Kazakhstan. I've been to Uzbekistan. It's not that bad. People live well, not rich, but they do all right. They're not oppressed. It's not that bad. You see these pictures, people, this is another propaganda thing. People are reposting these pictures of back in the 70s in Kabul. Women walking around in stylish 60s attire, mini skirts even. Short skirts, wearing a little shift, little pillbox hat, and they're carrying their books. That's what Afghanistan was before the Taliban. They were like Western. No, they were going to college that were established by the Soviets. They were wearing clothes that probably came from Russia. They were they were getting their education, their public transport, and their infrastructure from the Soviets. That wasn't Western at all. You know, my God, you got to think about these things and dig a little bit. I know you don't have time. Some of you don't have time. But it doesn't take that much if I can do it. I used to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 months at a time, and I can do this. You know why? I don't watch television. I don't sit and watch my shows. What good does that do you, watching your shows? All you're doing is programming yourself to go along with the narrative. That's what most people do. That's why there's such horrifying stupidity now. You know what really shocked me more than anything? When the recent events worldwide with the little floaty bug thing is seeing how many freaking people went along with it. You go to Walmart and walk through there, and people are running around like this. You see their eyes, and you see the fear in them. Walk around a corner and there's a dude standing there. What's he do? He jumps like a little frog and makes a pee-pee noise and runs away from me. I mean, that happens a bunch. Every time I go around a corner, some fat guy standing there. Yeah, I know I'm not slim, but I'm talking about morbidly obese people that apparently weren't really concerned about their health before the crisis happened. Yeah, I walk around the corner and they're surprised by somebody that's like 5 foot away from them. They jump like a little frog and peep and run away from me. The hell is wrong with people? They watch television. It's powerful stuff. They don't do that here. People don't seem to watch that much television here, and the television's different. Really have 2 shows that we watch as a family, and that's the news, which is different than American news. There's no hysteria, and they show what other news stations say. Did they do that in America? That's another thing you might not know. I watch Erie Canal, and any international event, they'll tell you the facts, like Walter Cronkite used to. This very professional, you know. And then they'll show what CNN says about it, which is usually pretty funny. And then they'll show what Der Spiegel or Le Monde or BBC or Al Jazeera or Israeli news stations say. Do they do that in America? Do they show you what other people say? Well, they show BBC sometimes because they're in freaking lockstep. That's interesting. State-controlled media. Anytime you get any Russian program on the internets, it always has a little sign that pops up. This is state-controlled media. They don't do that. They don't do that for PBS. PBS is funded and controlled by the U.S. government, isn't it? Actually, the Democratic Party, but we'll forget about that. BBC was established and owned by the British government. You don't have a little sign pop up for that, do you? You're living in a TV show. You're living in a propaganda world. Russian tanks runs over civilians. Madness in Ukraine. Yeah. Watch out for what you repost. If it smells like propaganda, maybe you ought to look into it. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take very much smarts to do it. It doesn't take much time. Because if you don't, you're helping these people. They look at the algorithms, and then, that gets shared enough. Facebook will put it in people's feed. This is suggested for you. Yeah. Well, they probably do that anyway if they're told to, but we all know who they're shilling for. Anyway, this video, I'm going to put this one in, and I promised a long time ago I would do a video about dogs and other things. But there's been a lot of stuff going on that's a little more important than that. But I don't know. We need a little palate cleanser. So I'm going to do the dog one. I'm probably going to do that next. It'll be in today or tomorrow. But anyway, I said what I need to say for now, what's going on. I haven't really looked at the news in depth. But that's just what came out to me. And it took some time to dispense with it. There's going to be a lot more of this and a lot more of this. We're in an information war. We have been for a long time, baby. I'm trying to fight for truth, not my side right or wrong. I'm not going to lie to make America good and to promote the narrative that fuels progress. That's totally soulless. Progress, as they define it. You don't have a place at their table. Why do you want to help them? Anyway, Uncle Bildy signing out. Next video will be all about dogs. Contrast America and Russia and Ukraine. I've had some weird dog adventures here, and I'll tell you about them. Yeah, dogs aren't very political, but they're smart. I'll tell you how smart they are. Dogs are smarter than you think, especially here. I think people are smarter here and dogs are smarter here from what I've seen. But then that's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Hope you got something from that. Uncle Bildy signing out.